Did you know about our Ignite Church app? It is completely free. Download our app today from your app store by searching for the words Ignite Church Miami. The app is the best way to stay connected with what's going on at Ignite and also a great tool to receive the latest updates. What are you waiting for? Download the app today.
Hello? Hello? What is up, Ignite Church? Good morning. Yeah, oh, good energy today. I said good morning. It's good. It's good today. It's going to be hard to follow up. Can we give it up for Ignite worship team this morning? Give it up, man. They brought some heat today. I'm honored I get to open up week 1 of our new series, Familia Ignite. Next week, I don't want to spoil the guest speaker. I might spoil it. Do I spoil it? It's Edric Valdez. Give it up for Big Dog next week. As always, I got to give my pastors, I want to thank them for giving me the opportunity to open. I've never opened up a series, so bucket list, check that one off. I got to give Pastor Eric credit. I think I told him, we were talking before, I can't come and preach every week. Like, just as you see me up here, I'm like a ball of like anxiety and nerves. So you guys give me good energy, we'll either be out of here in 10 minutes or I'm going to preach for an hour. So I don't know what's going to happen. We're just going to let it happen. I love it. But today I do have the distinct honor of bringing you guys week 1. If you're not taking notes, which you should, it says in the Bible, blessed are those who take notes in church. But if you are, I've titled this, The Door to Forgiveness. Now keep in mind, we're not doing a movie series that's coming up in the summer. But we are talking about Familia Ignite, so it's kind of off the Disney Encanto movie. So I went back and I watched the movie for the 58th time to see what I could possibly get used for the preaching. And I found something, so check out the screens.
Oh. Te estaba esperando.
Wrong order. What's up,
Lisa? Hey. I know we've had our issues, but I'm ready to be a better sister to you. So we should just hug. Let's hug it out. Huh?
Hug it out? Luisa can't lift an empanada. Mariano's nose looks like a smashed papaya. Have you lost your mind?
Isa, I feel like you're upset. And you know what cures being upset? A warm embrace.
Get out. Everything was perfect. Abuela was happy. The family was happy. You want to be a better sister? Apologize for ruining my life. Go on. Apologize.
I am sorry.
That your life is so great.
Ouch.
Fine, I apologize. Ugh, I wasn't trying to ruin your life. Ugh, some of us have bigger problems, you selfish, entitled princess.
Selfish! I've been stuck being perfect my whole entire life, and literally, the only thing you have ever done for me is mess things up!
Nothing is messed up. You can still marry that big dumb honk.
I never wanted to marry him! I was doing it for the family!
Oh my gosh. Isa, that is a very serious confession. Okay, get over here. Bring it in.
How many of you guys have actually seen the movie? Actual movie? Great movie. So for those who haven't, this part of the movie, Mirabel is the girl with the green glasses. She goes to approach her sister, Isabela, because she receives news that in order to save her family, she needs to make things right with her sister. Later in the movie, if you watched it, you realize it's not the sister, it's someone else in the family. I'm not going to spoil it because I want you guys to watch it. Isabela is supposed to be the perfect sister. Everyone in the town adores her. She has the gift of making flowers out of thin air. And in the scene, you see Mirabel enter her sister's room to ask for forgiveness. As you see, she didn't seem too thrilled to ask for it, but for the sake of her family, she does her best. Isa has always been the sister that has been seen as perfect. Perfect life. She got the perfect gift. She was about to marry the perfect guy. She's been, and you can see she says, I've been stuck being perfect my whole life. She wasn't doing it for herself. She was doing it for her family. Isa needed to learn to forgive her own self before she was able to forgive Mirabel. After that scene, she went on to sing a song that Janice and I were saying. I'm going to spare you guys from singing it because I don't want to outdo them, but next week maybe. So let me ask you something, church, if we're being really honest with each other. How many of us here are feeling kind of like Isabella today? We go on and live entire lives trying to be perfect, trying to live this Instagram, IG life. Look at me, look how perfect my life is. Look at my perfect family, my perfect job. Let me tell you something. If you get caught up in the social media perfect, you're just setting yourself up for disaster. How many of those so-called perfect people live each and every day with a burden? The burden of the not-so-perfect family, the burden of addiction, the burden of not being loved, the burden of not being accepted, and the burden of pain. Let me tell you something. Instagram will mess you up if you let it. It'll have you thinking one way. In reality, it's not that way. We push these feelings so deep down and we never address them. We're not only not able to forgive others, but we're never able to really deep down forgive ourselves. We have another clip I want to show you guys. It's from our team in Mexico. They do such a great job for us week in and week out. So check out the screens.
Oh. Te estaba esperando. Tranquilo, soy...
¿Eres yo?
Sí, soy tú.
¿Me morí? Oh,
No, no has muerto, o al menos no que yo sepa, creo.
esto es súper extraño. No estoy entendiendo nada, sinceramente.
Por favor. Tú sabes por qué estoy aquí.
No. No sé. ¿Por qué estás aquí?
¿Cómo no vas a saber? Obvio sabes. Pero bueno, estoy aquí porque tenemos unos temas pendientes. Y estaré aquí hasta que los resolvamos. No planeo irme porque tenemos que arreglar nuestro futuro.
Entiendo, pero... Pues no sé si estoy listo, ¿sabes? No sé si estoy listo para eso.
Sí lo estás. Yo sé que lo estás. Si no, no estuviera aquí. Han pasado 20 años, creo. Y... nada está bien. Nada de lo que estamos haciendo está bien. ¿Qué te parece si empezamos a hablar del perdón?
Empezamos fuerte, ¿eh?
Ven, siéntate. Tenemos mucho de qué hablar.
I don't know about you guys, but I could kind of resonate what was going on in the video. We go days, months, weeks, years without being able to forgive ourselves from our past transgressions. From that failed marriage, we forgive that other person, but we never end up forgiving ourselves for fear of not living the perfect life that is expected of us. So I was kind of going back and forth of who I wanted to use as like an example from the Bible. So I'm not going to take credit for who I used. My wife was kind of helping me to see who I could use. So this example, thank you, is because of her. I'm reminded of the story of Jacob and Esau. Anybody know the story about Jacob and Esau? Everybody knows it? All right, we're going to go through it again. If you haven't, it's the books of Genesis, chapters 28 through 33. I'm not going to go through all 5 chapters, obviously, but you should go through it if you haven't. Isaac and Rebekah had 2 twin boys called Esau and Jacob. Isaac was close to Esau. Rebekah was closer to Jacob. So even back then, parents had favorites. Even though if you ask parents now, they don't have favorites. Everybody has a favorite. Don't lie. Esau was the oldest and was supposed to inherit all the birthrights from his father. It says in Genesis 25:27, the verse will be up on your screens. The boys grew up. Esau became a skillful hunter. He was a man who liked the open country, but Jacob was a quiet man. He stayed at home among the tents. How many of you are like more like Esau? Outside, rugged, roughing it. Pastor Eric? Okay. How many of you are more like Jacob? Inside, I'm the Jacob. I'm a Jacob through and through. I don't like to rough. I don't like to camp, tents. That's, disgusting. One day, Jacob was cooking a meal when Esau came home hungry from a long day of hunting. Jacob told his brother he'd give him food on the condition that Esau give Jacob the rights of the firstborn, which meant Esau was due to get a larger plot of land than Isaac. Esau must have been really, really hungry because he agreed to it. And even though Esau gave up his larger plot of land, he was still due to receive his father's inheritance as firstborn, which meant he would get a larger inheritance. Later in life, Isaac was old and could hardly see. Esau was a hairy guy, so I don't want to be like Esau, but I'm hairy like him. Doesn't matter. So Jacob put on some animal fur. That's how hairy this guy was, and tricked his dad into giving him the blessing meant for his brother. Like that's cold, even for Old Testament times. That's just like downright dirty. You get dressed up and fur. So Jacob put on some animal fur and tricked his dad into giving him the blessing meant for his brother. Rebekah gave him the idea since she loved Jacob more than Esau. The mom told the son the idea of stealing the birth. That's like right now, if we were to take the girls, split them up in half, and I start giving Olivia bad ideas to give to mom. Thinking about it. Jacob tricked both his older brother and his father and essentially became the firstborn by deception. Jacob fled to live with his uncle Laban out of fear of Esau. He met Rachel and Leah, his future wives. God later called him to return to his homeland. On the way back to meet Esau and ask for forgiveness, he had a dream in which he struggled with God. During the dream, God changed his name to Israel. This story teaches not only to forgive one another, but how much we also need to learn to forgive ourselves. Jacob asked Esau for forgiveness, but Jacob also had to learn to forgive himself for the mistakes he made. I love what it says in Genesis chapter 32, verses 22, verse 32. We're going to go through some verses here. It'll be up on the screens. That night, Jacob got up and took his two wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons. So this guy was busy. There wasn't much to do in the Old Testament. 2 wives, 11 kids. And crossed the ford of Jabbok. Am I saying that right, Pastor Eric? Jabbok? You don't know? After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. If you look up in the Bible, they say that this man that he wrestled with was God. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob replied, "I will not let you go until you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" Jacob, he answered. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But he replied, "Why do you ask my name?" Then he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face and my life was spared." The sun rose above him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the Israelites do not eat the tendon attached to the socket of the hip, because the socket of Jacob's hip was touched near the tendon. "I will not let you go until you bless me. I could end it right there. I could literally drop the mic, walk away, sit down, and that's it. That preaches on its own. I will not let you go until you bless me. How many of us are wrestling with God today? That inner struggle of trying to forgive yourself for past mistakes. Listen, you don't get saved and baptized and poof, everything's going to be easy, church. But like Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Some say it was God that Jacob was wrestling with. In the end, Jacob does what we all must do. Confront your failures, your weaknesses and your sins. Everything we hate to do, face it. Jacob wrestled with God all night. It was an exacting struggle that left him crippled. Ozzy, come here. I didn't bring any props today, but I'm going to use Ozzy. Come here, Ozzy. This was not in my notes. Ozzy, we're going off the cuff. You want to know what the problem is? You know what the problem is? Ozzy, walk. I will not let you go until you bless me. Walk, Ozzy. This is how some of us are living our lives right now with God. Walk, keep walking. And we let go. And there's God. And we're asking God, bless me, God. Bless me. Come here, Ozzy. 5 years, 10 years, walk, Ozzy, walk that way. And we let go. Things get rough, we let go. But you know what? This is how you do it. Turn around, Ozzy. I'm not letting go until you bless me. We're going to fight. We're going to struggle. We're going to wrestle. We're going to end each other. But I will not let you go until you bless me. Give it up for Ozzy. It was only after he came to grips with God and sees his struggling, realizing that he could not go on without him, that he receives God blessing his life. Church, let me tell you, our lives are never meant to be easy. You don't get saved and all your problems go away. The bills are still going to be there. That broken relationship is going to be there. That troubled marriage is going to be there. The temptation is going to be there. The addiction is going to be there. But you know what? We have the one who says, I will not let you go until you bless me. When we take it upon this is true. When we take it upon ourselves to wrestle with God and His will for our lives, we must also learn that as Christians, despite our trials and tribulations, our strivings in this life are never devoid of God's presence. And His blessing inevitably follows the struggle. Which, let's be honest here, sometimes can be really messy and really, really chaotic. Real growth experiences, church, always involve struggle and pain. Birth, not supposed to be pretty. Struggle and pain. Listen, I don't know what you're struggling with today, what you haven't yet been able to forgive yourself of, but I'm here to tell you that we serve an almighty, all-knowing, everlasting God, and He's here to set you free of what burdens you. Cast your burden on the one true King, that we may struggle, church, but His blessing will come. I want to bring the Ignite worship back up before we end service. I was planning on preaching today, but I wasn't planning to do that with Ozzy. Thank you, Ozzy. And I wasn't planning to do an altar call. But there was something in me, I think like 20 minutes before service, that told me that I need to do it, because I know that there's someone here today that God brought, that you've been wrestling with something inside of you forever, and there's no better time than the present to confront and meet God face to face. No one said it was going to be easy. No one says it's going to be pretty, but that's where the real healing begins. I will not let you go until you bless me. Listen, he wrestled with God all day and all night. All day and all night. Some of us have been wrestling for things for days, months, years. Some people go a lifetime wrestling with something inside themselves that they just can't forgive themselves. And I'm here to tell you today, you're going to wrestle with God. And we're going to sing a song today, and I'm going to open up the altar. And if that's you, that you feel like you need to wrestle with God and you need to wrestle with him today and say, I will not let you go until you bless me, then I want you to come right up here. I'm going to ask Pastor Eric to join me, and we're going to pray for you. And you know what? You're not going to wrestle alone. We're going to wrestle this together. I will not let you go until you bless me. Just keep saying that. I will not let you go until you bless me. Jesus.